Hey, what's up, Geekscapists? Welcome to a brand new Geekscape podcast. I think I was just clearing something off the camera there. If you're watching this live on Facebook, maybe you're watching on YouTube, maybe you're watching on Twitch. I had something like hanging in front of the camera. I could see it. I don't know if y'all could see it. I cleared it out. But maybe you're listening to this as a podcast. If so, I'm Jonathan, your host. We're going to talk some geek stuff. I saw F9. That was an experience. I'll tell Katie and Matt about it here in a little bit. And I know that Matt saw the new Pixar film, Luca. I think we've got a little bit of video game news as well. Who knows? But yeah, this is Geekscape. So we're going to be talking some geek stuff. If you're welcome, if you're joining us, welcome. That was a very discombobulated intro, but I'm okay with it. You know what? Let's go with that. I just had to get a drink of tea here. There's a lot going on in the Geekscape, and I just want to share that with you because Katie and I have been talking, and I've been of a mood in the last week. Straight up of a mood in the last week. And Katie's like, you want to talk? You want to talk? And I'm like, no, it's fine. I just got to figure it out. And I'll tell you what's going on. There's just a lot with Geekscape going on. In my professional life, like, there's a lot of editing going on. There's another short over here. There's some work over here. There's a feature over here. There's just a lot of stuff that I can't wait to tell you all about that is going on. And that is keeping me rocking. As of the recording of this show, tomorrow, June 29th, we're going to go down to UCLA. We're going to shoot a video with the UCLA Blood and Platelet Center as part of our launch later in July for a month-long blood drive. Did I get that right? I did not. A month-long blood drive that we're starting in the middle of the month with a Geekscape 600 stream in honor and memory of our good friend Christopher Ellis, who died in May. So that's going on. I'm shooting that video tomorrow down at UCLA, and you'll see it later on as part of episode 600. This is episode F99, which I kind of named after F9, the cinematic masterpiece that I'll tell Katie and Matt about here in a little bit. Also, because I have a guest for episode 599, which we'll record next week. And I didn't want that to be episode 600 because I wanted episode 600 to be the big live stream that Matt and I are putting together for episode 600, and also to launch the blood drive. And Geekscape is going to do some good in the month of July and August for that blood drive. And then today I find out that there's another group that wants to partner with Geekscape for another initiative. And so the partners are coming, and the film stuff is going, and there's just a lot of plates spinning. And again, I have not been fun to be around. I've been a little bristly. And honestly, about 30 minutes before the show started, just now, my mom texted me, and it all became clear. Katie, this is the talk. Tomorrow, the 29th of June, is the 25th anniversary of my brother's death. And I hate to start the show on a downturn like that, but going into the 4th of July weekend, I don't know how else to illustrate to y'all to be safe, to be responsible, don't drink and drive. But it just happens every year. And I think that is like a testament to healing and or bearing your feelings deep down, that we got to the 28th of June and the calendar isn't even like I'm not even cognizant of the date on a conscious level, but subconsciously this thing, it's just, if you've dealt with grief in Geekscape, it's I don't know. I think it's appropriate that we're filming this launch video for Chris and memorializing Chris and celebrating Chris. I think it's appropriate that we're filming this launch video tomorrow on the 29th. And I've been scheduling it for the last week, a shoot with UCLA, because UCLA requires a lot of tape, and you gotta get a lot of approval and stuff to shoot at UCLA. And through all of the planning and the dates and this and that, like June 29th just didn't register with me until 30 minutes before recording the show. And as soon as my mom said, "Hey, I love you, tomorrow's the big day, 25 years," I went, "Oh, that's why I've been short with people." Is that a good excuse? No, it's not. I shouldn't be short with people. I should be more aware of my feelings as a grown up. But holy crap, that it was. Yeah, that's. I'm going to go with that. There's a lot going on. I could not be more excited about everything. I couldn't be, and Heidi reminds me of that. She's like, Jonathan, there's a lot of good stuff going on. We're doing a lot of positive stuff here at Geekscape. Geekscape's doing well. Professionally, everything's going well. There's a lot of people on our team right now, yet I had this undercurrent going on in my body of just like it was rough, and it's all clear now. And holy crap, the way that our minds like trick ourselves, but our bodies, they cannot be tricked. No. Our bodies and our hearts cannot be tricked. Derek Carnival says, "Love you, boo." I love you too, Derek. I invited him to be on the show today, but it is 120 degrees in Canada right now, and he would have to have recorded in his underwear, which I was willing to do, but Derek, I do not believe so. Michael Boy said, "Sending love, brother." You too, Mike. I think you're in Florida. Much love, brother. And then let me see what else is going on here. Daniel, I don't think Big Yanks is with it, but he's in there commenting, saying things like, you know what? I'm not going to go back and talk to him. There it is. Big Yank says, "That's funny. My agent didn't inform me of an upcoming appearance for episode 600 of Geekscape." You know what, Big Yanks? If you want to be a part of this episode 600 celebration, we'd love to have you. Matt, let's pencil him in for never. No, I'm kidding, brother. I love you. Big Yanks, let's have you on for episode 600. It sounds like fun, dude. Okay. Heidi, who has to deal with me as my roommate, says, "I knew something was up, but I knew you would dig in and figure it out eventually. Love you." Yeah. It's crazy. It's just 30 minutes before the show started. Yeah. Insane. So here we are. We're on Geekscape. I want to tell you all about F9. And you know what? How appropriate, because the things that are going on inside of me, they're about family. Speaking of family, Vin Diesel, spoiler, he only says it about 19 times in this movie. But here's Katie, who is very much like family to me, and Matt Kelly, who's also like family.
You did not just pull a Fast 9 reference in terms
in
of
reference to my grief. Yes, I did.
Yeah, of course you did. I love your Vin Diesel impression you got going on.
Katie, this film is a cinematic masterpiece.
I have no doubt, and I do want to get to that. But first and foremost, I do want to acknowledge the fact that like this is a huge moment for you tomorrow, and like I'm sorry that I feel like your body has sense memory that you don't quite consciously recognize all the time. So there, like, I was playing whack-a-mole with social media, and like you were sending me messages on every different platform, and I was like, "Wait, what video am I watching?"
I was DMing her on Instagram. I was DMing you on Twitter. I was texting you, and let's be clear, Geekscapists, most of the stuff is lunacy.
Oh, it's
all
great.
Right?
There's a particular.
Are you going to talk about the same?
I was going to say there's a specific Instagram account that I'm pretty sure he has forwarded me every single video that has ever been
posted. Every day.
There's like a kid. I don't know I don't know how to pronounce this account. I don't know how to pronounce this kid. I know that they've started to follow my brother Paul because I share the videos with him too. There is some kid who is the son of this MMA guy, and I don't know if he has dwarfism. I don't know what is going on with this kid, but I first saw this kid when there was a video going around, and his father looks like an MMA fighter. He's from some like Eastern European country, and I don't know if y'all have seen this kid on Instagram or on the socials, but TikTok maybe. But basically, this little kid who appears to have dwarfism or just be a little kid, he and another little kid started fighting each other in this video, and the dad is like separating them, right? And it's hilarious because they're swinging at each other, and they're tiny, and
they're real
kicks,
small, but they look like
they will
they're
never
about
connect.
to kill each other. Like,
Yes.
but like, yeah, the everything is whiffing hard every single time.
This kid is almost laying himself out with a kick, and then
it is adorable. But you are obsessed with this.
I thought that first video about 2-3 weeks ago was it. Then about every day we get a new video of him like swinging an axe or like working with a bow staff, and then the one today was him basically like locking and glocking some freaking
the
desert
kid's legitimately
eagle.
Part of like a kid mafia. Like there's something like Dawnish about him. Like the kid is gonna be a part of something big, and I'm sure he's on some lists. But the kid can take someone down just with a look.
Let me see if I can find this.
I was gonna see.
I have to screen share on Instagram, and I apologize to anybody who is listening to this show and has no idea what I'm talking about. Geekscape, you're not going to get this. But there's this kid. Here's a video of like a monkey.
And John, don't show too much. Don't show too much because he's the guest on episode 600. Right?
Oh my god! This kid is the guest on episode 600.
Honestly,
okay, wait. I found the original video of him like arguing with his brother. Let me just share this real quick. Geekscape is again like this kid is amazing.
Kid.
Let me see. I'm gonna share this screen, and y'all just hang tight. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, I cannot help you. I'm just so sorry. Look at this kid right here. Are y'all able to see that? Here we go.
He also has the face of my grandmother somehow, and I don't know how.
I don't know what's going on with this kid. But here's a video of him. Here we go.
And he's talking, but we don't know what he's saying. Well, I don't, at least. Oh yeah, he's basically squaring off with this child, this very small child, and he's ready. Yeah. And also great furniture, let's be real. So yeah,
I can't get enough of that kid.
This kid, I know. I know.
Can't get enough of this
I don't
kid.
follow this account, but I feel like I do.
Yeah, we're very aware.
I've got videos of this kid on his Instagram, like walking around eating strawberries, like swinging an axe, like cooking. This kid he's a Renaissance man. It basically is like, yeah. But I mean, this village that they live in, it's got like donkeys pulling carts and stuff like that. Like it is the most Eastern European. It's like it looks like the place where Gymkhana ended. Is basically what I don't know if you saw the 80s. I don't know if you saw the 80s gymnastics kung fu sensation movie Gymkhana. And we're going into the Summer Olympics this year, and it's fairly related because there was a gymnast in the 80s, back when like Mary Lou Retton and all those people, not Mary Lou, you know what I mean? Like when gymnastics was big in the 80s, they just started.
Oh yeah, Mary Lou Henner.
Mary Lou Henner, that's it. And they took this gymnast and they were like, well, we can turn him into an action star. And they made this movie called Gymkhana, where this gymnast gets recruited, or a fighter, he gets recruited in like a fight tournament, and he has to fight through like this Eastern European landscape. He's getting hunted by bad guys, and the whole thing ends in this like Eastern European town of crazies, where coincidentally there's a fountain in the middle of the town that looks like a pommel horse, and he uses it to go around and like flip and kick people in the face and win the tournament. It is ludicrous. Gymkhana is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. It looks like that's where this little kid lives.
So John, I think that you've got this other short coming out that you're really excited about, and like once that short's done, I think that you need to make the documentary about this kid, because that's really you chasing your passion to the next project.
I am insufferable on Instagram because I will send you DMs of this kid. He's walking around eating strawberries. It's
like the only thing you send me. There's not even any conversation afterwards.
It's just video. It's just a video, and like maybe there's a comment, but every other 4 videos, there's a comment, but it's just the video. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start sending you all the cooking videos and like the weird like workout stuff that I look at.
I'm here for it.
It's to the point that like I still don't know this kid's Instagram handle, but if I get a message that says Geekscape.net has sent you a video. I'm like, I know what it is.
Yeah, what it is quality, and it's good.
It is pretty entertaining. I feel like I went from like, what the heck is this, to like, oh, that's cute, to oh, another one of these, and then I'm now back to like, it is pretty funny. Like, I'm like, it's
when you
that
see what
Office
appears to be like an 8-year-old, like locking and clocking. I mean, he literally is like at the beach with a desert eagle, like it's insane. Yeah, Big Yanks and I and Derek, this is what we do. Guy sends me a ton of these, and it is Guy's birthday today. So to my other brother in Brazil, Guy Pereira, who usually joins us at San Diego Comic-Con. Happy birthday, Guy.
Happy birthday.
So what do we want to do here? We want to talk about this F9. It is very much about family, this F9.
I do. I like, as much as we even got off track, but like, I do want to like acknowledge the fact that like you are mentally and emotionally going through quite a bit right now. So it makes sense why you're still sending us these videos of this kid. But it's also like,
wait, hold on, Matt. I think we just lost Matt a little bit on the Zencaster. No. Yeah, it's okay. It's fine, Katie.
Okay.
Matt will rejoin us. I think that I just like staying busy.
You like staying, you absolutely like staying busy. And that was when I was like, hey, bud, what's going on? Because you were messaging me like a couple of times, just like with different videos and things like that. And it came off as like, hey, there's so much going on right now. I don't know where else to go, but like send you crazy videos. And I was like,
I have my ways of coping. I signed up for a 40K today in the mountains. Like, why not? Why not run a marathon in mountain hills?
Are you afraid if you slow down that your thought process will take over?
What thought process?
Just all of it.
I don't know what thought process.
I mean, I just like all of the thoughts. Like it
Are
seems
you saying this Louis C.K. thing where if I stop, I'll have to sit with my feelings? Is that what you're saying, Katie?
Well, there's that as well. I mean, not to say he didn't speak some truth to that, but yes. Not that I want to bring him into the conversation, but
no.
Yeah.
But you remember, you know what I'm talking about? That one Louis C.K. quote where he talks about like sitting in the car or being on our phones, and how like we don't like sitting with our feelings. I'll tell you the truth. Like, I start every day with at least an hour run outside. And that's my time to like put my head in places and stuff like that, and just like figure out my intentions for the day.
Meditatively, just being. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever incorporate that? Because
you Geekscape saw that post-divorce, like Jonathan 3.0. Like, y'all saw that guy, and I like him. He was nice. I mean, I got to the point where I could float on like about an inch off the floor. I was doing those little rings from Doctor Strange. I started learning how to do those.
Oh, Doctor Strange, or from the Shang-Chi?
No, yeah, Doctor Strange, where I'm doing like the spinning things.
You're doing this.
Yeah, I could do like the whole thing, the Doctor Strange thing. I was doing meditation station, baby. Like, bring the train in and let's go.
So that was then. What's going on now?
Now I just work. I like to work.
Yeah, but you can't.
I'm trying to get an ulcer or something.
No, that it feels like the clear path to that, and I just want to recommend or suggest just some time of just being, and like maybe it's with Heidi, maybe it's by yourself.
No,
like,
by myself.
Okay, yeah. It's up to you, but like grief is such a thing. Like, when I had the 10th anniversary of my mother's passing, like I didn't even know what to do. Like, it kind of crept up on me, and like some people were like, "Are you going to do anything? Are you going to like have a thing?" And I was like, "No, like I don't know what to do. I'm just going to kind of be in the moment." And that was the only way I could deal with that.
No, listen, I hear you. I do.
You like twice, and
sadly, I mean, not sadly, I booked tomorrow, and tomorrow we're going to UCLA. We're going to film this memorial video for Chris. I'm going to donate some blood, and y'all will see that clip as part of our live stream. I think we're circling July 16th as Geekscape 600. We're going to have a full enchiladas worth of podcast streaming, ending with the big Geekscape 600. We're putting these things together now. We're going to have a lot of the cool stuff. We're going to send the Geekscapists out to donate blood and platelets in memory of Chris and celebration of Chris. And let me tell you, the stuff I'm learning about how COVID dented blood donations, yet also like pulled on blood donations, the National Blood Storage is really pretty rough. This like we're down to like 25% of our normal
yeah.
blood.
And I get
Like,
emails from them all the time. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that like they need blood, so please donate, and please
taking a time to myself. Like, I had a pretty chill weekend. It doesn't mean that like inside this stuff wasn't boiling up. But I mean, it was. But now I know what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk to my family tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll take some time for myself. I'll check in on my brother Paul. I will. I think what I'll do is I'll just film the video. Tomorrow will just be. It'll take me 2 hours. We'll film the video for Geekscape. I'll do a little bit of correspondence. I'm excited about all this stuff that's coming down. The more active we are, the more opportunities that we get for the Geekscape, and
absolutely
I'm excited about that stuff. And you know what?
I'm just putting it out there, and we've got some
what
really
my brother would want.
Absolutely. And I want to acknowledge like how much good Geekscape is doing in this whole world, and it's a beautiful thing. And as much as we talk about movies and as much as we talk about content, the one thing is that when you have like these kinds of like things or experiences, you can't just cut to the next scene. As much as we have so many things going on and so many beautiful things that we're working towards, skipping over the scene or the time that you need to take with yourself. Like, just make sure that you invest that time.
It was apparent up until 30 minutes ago that I was not going to skip over it. I was going to smash through it like the Kool-Aid Man on a brick wall. Like, it was not. I was just going to put my head down and let obliviousness take over and just smash my head through the wall and be like, "We good? What's up, kids? Want some Kool-Aid? But it's my blood." And then like a week later, I would have been like, "Ah!" But
is it his blood? Is it? Did we ever
is the
settle
Kool-Aid
on
Man?
that?
Yeah, when the kids are drinking Kool-Aid, they're drinking from the Kool-Aid Man's blood. That's clear.
Or is it his beat? Like, is the face attached to the liquid or to the actual container?
For Matt Kelly: how sued will we be if we use the Kool-Aid Man and kids drinking from his corpse as a logo for our blood drive?
Huh? That's a good. Oh, did he freeze, or is he still?
There's only one way to find out. Right?
It takes him longer than us. He was thinking. I think that like if we use the Kool-Aid Man with a bunch of kids with straws sticking out of them, and that is like our blood drive. I think the Kool-Aid Man. Could we do it? Like the Kool-Aid Man with a bunch of kids with straws sticking out of his head.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I see the gears rolling. Somebody's gonna draw that up, right?
Oh my god.
You're really into this, aren't you, Matt?
Yeah, he's like going to go draw it right now.
The Geekscape blood drive. We get an image of the Kool-Aid Man with a bunch of little kids sucking Kool-Aid out of his head, and it's like the Geekscape blood drive. I don't know. This is where my head goes, Katie.
I love it. It.
It's canon. It's canon. Those kids were drinking. Listen, if you can go to church and you're drinking of the blood of Christ and the body of Christ, if you can do that, you telling me the Kool-Aid Man wasn't a bunch of little child vampires drinking the Kool-Aid Man's life source? Absolutely. The Kool-Aid Man was, yes.
I love that you brought religion into it.
Yes. For lots of kids, the Kool-Aid Man was religion.
Oh, okay. That's actually not something I knew. I wonder though, because the Kool-Aid Man is always the red Kool-Aid. It's never like the purple Kool-Aid or the yellow Kool-Aid or the blue Kool-Aid.
Those are in canon, but it's not like the blood of Christ.
Yeah, okay. But I was also more talking about the like he doesn't have friends. He's just bursting through walls trying to find the other Kool-Aids, is in my opinion.
You're right.
And he's just finding kids every time he bursts through a wall.
So a little behind the scenes here, we asked Derek to be on the podcast, and Derek said I can't because it's 120 degrees in Canada and my power keeps going out. Matt Kelly is in Normal, Pennsylvania, not during a heat wave, and this guy can't stay connected to save his life. So I don't know what's going on with Matt Kelly, but Geekscape Matt runs the Geekscape podcast network, and he is the alpha and omega of all the technical stuff that happens on the network, and he can't stay on his feed. So I don't know what that tells you.
Also, even though Derek could not join us today, one of my favorite comments of his is in the chat that said, Matt, I really like your casting couch.
Yeah, Matt is, Matt, I watched all of Mayor of Easttown, and that's basically Matt's neighborhood. And all I could think watching like kids get murdered and stuff at Mayor of Easttown and watching people get like kidnapped in Mayor of Easttown was, oh, that's Matt Kelly's neighborhood where the murders happen. Yep. Yeah, Mayor of Easttown was a pretty good advertisement for your new zip code there, Matt. It's like, oh, that's that place where that person got murdered is right around the corner from Matt Kelly's place. Maybe he'll get sex trafficked like in Mayor of Easttown. Like this is crazy.
It's the same as my old zip code. So
oh right. The apple will not fall.
No, this is just always where it's been.
Yo, you are the Mayor of Easttown. The Kellys are the Mayor of Easttown of the Geekscape network, because like no family member lives that far away. When you watch Mayor of Easttown, they're all related to each other and stuff. Oh, that's Matt Kelly.
Well, except for Brian, but he had to do a bunch of Oxycontin and then get shipped to Florida, so that's slightly different.
Geekscape, if you want more Brian stories, you can find them on the Horror Movie Night podcast, where Brian, Matt, and Scott are co-hosts. Yeah, another shout out to the podcast. I had a spare 7 hours on Wednesday coming up, so I told Shane I'd co-host Geekscape Games. Hey. So if you want to hear a 7-hour podcast about video games, co-hosted, I guess, by me this week, where I've played all of Miitopia some more. Enjoy that, because I'm going to try and make sure that those guys keep it under 3 hours this time on the Geekscape Games podcast.
Oh, really?
Best of luck.
Shane asked me, he said, hey, do you want to host Geekscape Games podcast this week? And I said, yeah, sure. I got nothing going on. I'll take a whole day to podcast about video games. I'm kidding, Geekscapists. I don't mean to scare you off from that. It's a 2-hour podcast. And it's bi-weekly. So listen to 1 hour a week, and it'll be like this show. So
come on, exactly the same. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what I'm going to talk about on Geekscape Games, other than I got a solicitation today that there's a brand new Contra game coming out. And I was like, oh, sick. And it's side-scrolling. It's like
you and your side. You hate the side-scrolling.
Well, this thing is like, but I like it when it's appropriate. Like a Sonic game, like Sonic Mania. I'm so down with Sonic Mania. I thought it was a fantastic Sonic game. So I'm really into side-scrolling. Not into side-scrolling when it's a franchise that's progressed past side-scrolling and is like, okay, cool. Like, let's try that out. I like that they mix it up. So this Contra solicitation, I was like, oh, I love Contra. Contra's a classic NES game. Super Contra, classic SNES game. Hard as hell. I'm up for a new Contra challenge. They have like all these characters in the trailer that you can choose. There's the classic 2 dudes that are awesome. There's 2 female characters. There's like a monster you can fight as. There's like some monster character who's on the Contra team now. And I was like, this is great. And then it said for mobile only.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Katie, this new Contra game, I was so stoked for it. I was like, I'll get that. That'll be great. That'll be my next airplane game on the Switch, or I'll get that for the PlayStation. I'll play this game. This will be fun. The graphics look great for mobile only.
I mean, but hey, at least you could take it with you on the go. Not like that Switch, which
for a plane ride.
Yeah, no, listen, I'll just stick to Miitopia. I thought that I beat Miitopia because I beat the Dark Lord in the game, who had been stealing everybody's faces, including my friends. Katie's in the game, Matt's in the game, and I defeated him, and everybody got their faces back. And I was like, okay, great. I'm done with this game. It's a paper-thin game. It's so redundant and repetitive. Every level is the exact same, very incrementally increasing difficulty. I'm pretty happy to put Miitopia behind me. And then the Dark Lord went and jumped into somebody else's body. And it was like, there's 3 more worlds and there's more missions. And I was like, there's so much more Miitopia left to play. I'm so like, oh, I know I'm going to do it, but I don't know about this game. I told Josh Jackson, he said it was like Ring Fit. I guess Ring Fit has a story, doesn't it?
Yeah. I wrote a story for Game Rant ages ago about a guy who got his Ring Fit caught on his nethers. Yeah, it was a good time.
What was he do? Okay, Ring Fit is this thing that you put like the Switch controller into, and you're supposed to be like flexing your arms and doing things to stay fit as you play a video game on the Switch. what was he doing with it that he got it stuck on his pee-pee?
On his little peeper. Yeah, I don't know exactly what he was doing because a lot of the times for the particular website that I worked for, they gave us kind of like meme-worthy headlines, but like not a lot of background information, so I'd have to go digging, and there wasn't a lot that they explained. But it sounded like he was like stretching and like doing something, and then like as it like contracted or something, it like got caught. I don't know why, and I also don't know why he was naked. I mean, I would assume.
Yeah,
you know.
Your explanation's great until we realized he didn't have clothes on and was playing Ring Fit.
Like he would have to be, right? Like he would have to be completely naked or at least bottomless, which is also a weird image of some dude just working out bottomless.
You know what?
I mean, I do.
We don't know what went on, but I also know that on this week's episode of Xbox Game Passengers, Derek recorded it in his underwear because it's so hot in Canada right now. So, like, maybe it was super hot. He's playing Ring Fit. He's sweating. The Ring Fit slips out of his sweaty grasp, and it pinches his stuff.
His peeper. Yeah, maybe. Or his nutty sack, which would also, I'm like, if
now he's playing with power. Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, it really makes you miss the days of the NES trackpad.
Yes, just pounding it.
Yeah, I don't think that little robot with the rings that didn't work, like ever was going to smash your nuts. I just don't think that was. I don't think that was something that was going to happen when you bought your original 8-bit NES, where it was like, hey, play this trackpad in this robot that doesn't really work, and it'll squeeze your nuts. Like I don't think that was going to happen. But this Ring Fit sounds like a. It sounds like a hazard.
It really does sound like it, yeah, and I never got it because I was like, I don't know. I definitely didn't get it after that writing that article. I was
Katie,
still very confused. Yeah.
We have to do this because it's science. What is the most dangerous of these accessories? I mean, the Ring Fit one is pretty much running away with it right now. But out of all the accessories we've had in video games the last 30 plus years, there have been like the Zelda bow. There have been. You know,
oh, that's right.
The Move. There's been VR. Obviously, people are like cleaning out their living room, smashing things. But like, what's the most dangerous like accessory for a video game? Do you think? Because that Ring Fit squeeze, like that sounds terrible.
I don't know a lot about this, but I feel like any of them that have to do with the adult industry.
No, we can't count that. No, clearly that's been.
I haven't done a ton of research.
Yeah.
But like, if anything is mechanical, that you're
not put your stuff in it.
I mean, operating. I don't know. Just
clearly. Yeah, no. Clearly, like the sex bot stuff, you're just asking for something horrible to happen.
You're asking for it to be chopped off, or you're asking for an electrocution at minimum.
And I'm half worried about putting that in humans, like much less like something that like is built. No. In terms of video game accessories that are probably going to end in mauling, like a maiming, like an injury. What are the video game accessories, like a DDR pad or something that like will lead to the most human injury? Put that in your magazine, your online blog, or whatever. I no
longer work for them for that particular one. I work for actually a much better one.
Doesn't Derek run our kind of non-existent website? Like, can't he just like write an article about like top 10 most likely to maim a human being video game accessories? Well, how has Nintendo not come out with like? Remember when Big Game Hunter came out? Like that game, Big Game Hunter, where people are like, I'm going to shoot a buck or something. They had like those guns that you could play with. And like, why is there not like a bear trap that comes with Big Game Hunter? And you're like, I'm going to catch me a bear. And you come out with, wouldn't that be fun for kids to be like, hey, not only can you like catch a bear and shoot it in like your living room, but here's a bear trap that you put out, connect it Bluetooth to your video game system. And it's fun. Like you can pretend that the bear steps in a bear trap. I don't know what actually steps in the bear trap in your living room.
I was like, does the player step in the bear trap?
Yeah.
And then they like get the haptic experience of getting your leg caught.
Okay, this is what we do. We got to make a new video game. You ready for this?
Okay.
Don't steal this.
Okay.
If you're listening to this, don't steal this. We're gonna make this. This is coming soon. Geekscape
Clearly
Games.
Great idea.
Geekscape Games is going to go from being a podcast to a full-fledged game publisher designer. Okay, this is what we're making. We're developing a game. Through the first release of Geekscape Games is going to be a big game hunter type game called Now We Huntin', son. And it's basically a hunting game, but you know how in like the zombie games, like Left 4 Dead and stuff like that, you can choose to play as a zombie? Well, here you can choose to play as the wildlife. And so if you're
John,
like the buck,
John,
you can stab the player.
John, this has already been done.
You can play as the bear and you can maim the hunter.
There was Deer Avenger. That was a parody on Deer Hunter where you were a deer hunting down the hunters in the game.
Listen. Was it VR?
No, it wasn't VR. It was
see, that's the thing. I want to see a bunch of people in their living room bucking like bear, like bucking with their heads, like they're deer, or swiping with their arms, you know. And then I want you to have to fight them by throwing a bear trap in your living room. Like there's like these games. Come on, they don't get the full experience.
You are just begging people to steal this idea.
I mean,
now.
Go for it,
John. It sounds like Geekscape is going to be more than just podcasts and movies and TV shows. Now it looks like we're getting into game development.
We're getting into game development.
We're taking over all of it.
Yep. The game is going to be called "Come On, Son, Let's Kill."
It really rolls off the tongue, John.
It really rolls off the tongue. Yeah, it's going to be great, and it's an MMO.
Okay.
It's an MMO where some people play as deer, some people play as bears, like beaver with rabies. Like there's all sorts of stuff you can pick. It's gonna be fun. You can be a squirrel, jump out, grab the dude.
I don't even play video games, and I'd play the shit out of this game.
Yeah. You know, like because zombies have different abilities in the zombie games, right? Like the witch, the boomer, all these different things. What if like there's a deer? You can play as a deer. You can play as a bear, which is like your tank. You can play as a squirrel, which is like your like ninja.
I think you're just describing Overwatch at this point.
Yeah, you get up in the tree, and then you can throw acorns and stuff to like distract them, and then when they turn, you attach yourself to their face. Like this may be the best game.
Head sucker style.
Yeah, but you're a squirrel.
Oh, but it's still alien. Okay.
The beaver can knock a tree on you. There's all sorts of stuff, guys. This game is great. This game is great.
I'm in. I have, other than writing for video games, I have never made a video game.
As a beaver, you can make like tiger traps, like dig holes, and like put a bunch of like sticks at the bottom, kill the people. This is the best game I've ever thought of. And I think about a lot of games.
I have no doubt about that.
This is the best anything you've ever thought of, and I'm saying that on the show you've been doing for 15 years.
Yeah, let's do it. The forest fights. The forest fights back. We're gonna do this. It's a video game. You can still play as the hunter, but you're gonna be fucked.
Listen, if you're a part of a video game company out there and you are listening right now, you can contact Jonathan on any of the Geekscape social medias. He's got some videos for you.
Jonathan at Geekscape.net. I'll send you some.
Expect him to send you some videos.
I'll send you some videos of a little kid trying to fight an entire town.
I don't even know if he's trying. Like, I think he's succeeding.
The one that I sent today, the kid is like playing with a bow staff, and he's like fucking around with different weapons, and then when he pulls the axe out, like the cameraman noticeably jumps back, and it's like, I'm not down with a 7-year-old swinging an axe. Like, I'm sorry, but this is where I have to call it.
I got nervous. I was like, I don't know where this is gonna go.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Listen, y'all have butchered my segue a million times, but we have to talk about this F9. Okay, we have to talk about this.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it, because I have only seen the first one. So tell us about Fast 9.
Wait, what?
And I've only seen a few choice moments from this franchise, like The Rock flexing out of a cast and a car being driven from one tower to another tower to a third tower. Yep. But yeah, I've been kind of out of it too.
Okay, so here's my review. F9 was tight.
Okay.
All right. Like across the board, this movie was tight. My friend Mark and I went to see this thing in IMAX, because if you don't see F9 in IMAX, not only are you missing this thing in the glorious, most just ridiculous fashion you can possibly watch this in, you're also missing a 5-minute preview of the next Jurassic World movie. And that was kind of just 5 minutes of a Jurassic World movie. So that's fine. Like, I mean, trust me, like it was, the Jurassic World preview is cool. Like we see like dinosaurs like 35 million years ago, and they're kind of like plodding around, killing each other. And then two of them fight. I think it's the Dominus Rex or whatever the big one is from the last Jurassic World movies, and then a T-Rex, and then they fight and they land in like a swamp, and then it says 35 years later, and you see this Tyrannosaurus Rex running through the through the woods, and it's like, oh, that's close to the location where the last Jurassic World ended, where dinosaurs have just gotten free, right? And now it's truly, we're living in a Jurassic World. It's a Jurassic World, baby. We're just living in it. And so you see, and this is not a, I mean, this is what
you're not rating the slug lines for
no.
all
So listen, so you see this Tyrannosaurus Rex, and you cut to an outdoor like movie like a movie, like they're watching this movie screen outside. It's like under the stars, and this Tyrannosaurus Rex runs into this drive-in and just starts like going crazy. And then you see the main character, Chris Pratt from the last movie, and he's in a helicopter. He's like, I got a beat on the thing, and he's trying to shoot it with a tranquilizer gun. And basically, there's cars, people running for their lives, and this, and I could just think like, wow, this could be Matt Kelly at his Critters double feature in Pennsylvania. Matt Kelly, at the same time I was watching Fast 9, was in Pennsylvania at this Critters double feature at a drive-in, having fun. And he could have been attacked by Tyrannosaurus Rex. And that's where my thoughts were. It was like, I hope he doesn't get attacked by Tyrannosaurus Rex while he's enjoying Critters, because that's probably not the movie you want to be watching when you get eaten by Tyrannosaurus Rex.
I appreciate that I was on your mind, John. And also, yes, big shout out to the Mahoning Drive-In that specializes in hard double features and all types of weird stuff. I left early because I'd been out there in the so John, you know how like I'm good at a few things at Geekscape. Contract reading was never one of the strong suits for me. So I showed up to vend at this event just assuming that they were going to provide me with a table, a tent, and a chair. And they provided me with none of them. So I was standing outside in an open field with no shade for 7 hours, just selling shirts out of the buckets that I brought them in.
Oh my God, you brought these shirts in the bin.
Yeah, so I mean, it went well. We sold $400 worth of shirts, so it's great. But yeah, by the time the movie, surprisingly, not that much. But
you just like reflected the sun right back into it,
back. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, by the time the first movie started at 9 p.m., I was like, I'm gonna drive home. Like, it's been a day. But I was told by one of my friends who stuck around to watch the double feature that when Critters 2 happened, the theater had built a giant critter ball, like what happens in the second movie, and then started rolling it through the drive-through past people's
That is
cars.
so cool.
Stuff. Yeah.
And people have not watched Critters. Just imagine that game, Katamari Damacy, with things that want to eat you, and they turn into a giant ball, and they just roll over you, and you turn into a skeleton because they all eat you as it rolls over you. Like,
the Mahoning Drive-In is a really, really cool spot. There's a documentary about it called At the Drive-In, about how like they're one of the last original drive-ins from like the 50s, and they almost had to shut down because no one was making movies on film anymore. So like they had to afford a digital projector that they couldn't afford. But then they figured out that if they just stacked 3 regular projectors that you have in like any classroom on top of each other, the combined light bulb brightness works just as well as like a $50,000 digital projector.
Take that, James Cameron. Take that, James Cameron. Just know that I was thinking about you.
I appreciate that, John.
And thinking maybe while you're watching Critters 2, a Tyrannosaurus Rex was going to come and get you. But then Fast 9 opens. Fast 9 opens, and it has that sequence that you see from the trailer of these cars shooting around South America, and there's like a bridge that goes out, like a rope bridge. And they're trying to like get out of this country where they've just picked up this device because they're not supposed to be in the country, and the army's coming after them. And so you have this fast team that's gone into this country to get this secret device, MacGuffin, that starts the movie that everybody wants because it can control satellites, and they can't let the bad guys get it. And the sequence that you see in the theater in the trailer, and you're like, that makes no sense. It makes less sense in the movie because
didn't help it.
It's fantastic. This movie is fantastic because there's a sequence where they have to split up, and Dom, that's Vin Diesel's character, turns to Letty, Michelle Rodriguez's character, and goes, "Be careful," and she says, "Careful's how you get hurt."
What?
Yeah, it's tight. It's tight. So they're going through this whole sequence of avoiding the army men. They got to ramp to another country off a cliff. The rope like catches on an axle and swings them around like a rope swing, so they get out. It's crazy. But there's this cool sequence where you pan out from all the chaos. Butt shot. Whose is it? John Cena. He's watching binoculars. You then get flashbacks now that they see each other, and it's like, oh my God, that's your brother. Who, you have a brother? They all realize this. 9 movies in, 10 if you count Hobbs and Shaw, and they bring up the fact that, yeah, Dom has a brother. It's all about family, except the fact that we haven't mentioned that he has a brother.
I was going to say, how can a movie about family not know about family until 9 movies in?
It's insane. So you get a flashback, and I don't recall a flashback happening in other Fast Nines that go back to Dom being a kid, like an 18-year-old, and you see him on a racetrack, and we see the death of Dom's brother. And his brother is there, Jacob, who later becomes John Cena. What's great is that they got these actors who roughly look like them. Somehow John Cena is sprouted like 2 feet taller than Vin Diesel because he's about a foot shorter than them in these flashbacks. The greatest thing about these flashbacks, which are fun, the adult actors dub the younger actors.
No, shut up. Stop it right now.
So you have this 18-year-old kid who looks roughly like he could grow up to be Vin Diesel in 15 years. And he opens his mouth, and it sounds like
no,
it sounds like the rock eater from Neverending Story. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
The film sold me on this movie. I had no desire to see this movie, but I want that.
Listen to this. You don't have to see the earlier ones.
I've only seen the first one, but I kind of am curious about this one.
So listen, IMAX only, okay? So you get to this sequence, right? There's these 2 devices that they got to get together to control the satellites. And when you can control the satellites, which is what John Cena wants to do, oh no, it's game over for the world, right? He can control all the digital stuff in the world, everything, the satellites, right? So one of these places, this is halfway through the movie, I'm not going to spoil this thing for you, is locked in this safe by some secret security thing in the castle at the top of Edinburgh. And Edinburgh, Scotland, Edinburgh, however you want to say it, is at the top of this hill, right? It's where Wanda and Vision got sniped by Thanos's people in that first Avengers movie, right, where they get like taken out. Okay, so like it's a bunch of winding roads, perfect for car chases. There's going to be a car chase. John Cena sneaks into this
expensive car too.
Yeah, John Cena sneaks into this castle at the top of this hill in his ancient city, steals this device he needs, and then he's got a getaway. His partner in crime gets in a car and starts winding through all these streets, just mutilating people, just killing them. And they get, the fast team is in pursuit. They're swiping around. They're doing stuff with magnets, swiping cars off the street with the magnets, the super magnets. The magnets are pulling things out of buildings. The magnet thing is what it's all about in this movie. There's like giant power magnets that they put in the car. It doesn't explode the car using a magnet like this. It definitely doesn't wipe hard drives, but it's a major plot point to have these magnets in cars because down these cars can like attach themselves to each other and stuff. So this is the best thing. While they're driving around the streets, John Cena is doing this getaway. His getaway isn't by car, my friends. You'd think it would be in Fast 9. Nope. He is using a zip line from a gun. He's shooting it rooftop to rooftop and zip lining out of Edinburgh through what appears to be 30 miles of zip line, which is amazing. Remember the endless runway in Fast 6, I think, where the runway just, I guess, was like a figure 8 because it went on for 30 minutes where they're like, we got to keep this plane from like lifting off. And it's like 40 minutes of a plane not lifting off. And I'm like, how long is this runway? So he is basically ziplining down the full length of Scotland, like just ziplining. They're like, we got eyes on him. And they look up and here's this guy. Whee! He's ziplining. It's incredible. It's incredible. He ziplined for about 40 miles from what I can tell. And it's just a magical experience, this whole movie.
Okay.
And I mean, in the trailer you see them flip a armored like caterpillar carrier, like this giant truck that has like all these segments to it, and they're like, it's armored. We've got to flip it to get to the soft underbelly. It's the only way to get in and stop it from uploading to the satellites. So they're gonna magnetize themselves to the side of this thing.
We really invested in magnets on this one, didn't we?
Yeah. They're gonna magnetize themselves to the front of this thing, hit the brakes hard, so the thing that's going super fast will like flip over, and then they can shoot it their way inside, cut their way inside, and stop the satellite upload thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
By that point, after John Cena's like tried murdering them for 2 hours of a movie, there's an opportunity where he can get away, and they let him go because he's family. He's tried to murder them for 2 hours, like, but they try and they're like, hey man, cops are coming in, you got to go. We'll stop this caterpillar thing. At that point, you need 2 magnet cars for the stopping caterpillar thing. So Dom gets up next to it, and he's like, I could do it. And Letty, she's getting shot at. She's like, I can't get up there. I don't have an open window. And then on the radio, what do you hear? John Cena's voice. I can do it. He came back Han Solo style to blow up the Death Star. Han Solo style to blow up the Death Star. We got John Cena. All's forgiven. They're going to stop the caterpillar thing. They flip it onto its back. It then slides on a wheelless top. I would say for another 40 miles. Like, the thing is just sliding through buildings. Nothing can stop this damn thing other than going off a cliff. That's going to happen. It's ridiculous. It's amazing. It's a celebration of all that is cinema. It is the culmination of over 100 years of an art form. And it's happening here. And I'm not going to mention like how every time John Cena's in a fight, it turns into a wrestling movie. I'm not going to talk about all that stuff. I'm not going to talk about how great this movie is.
This is what Thomas Edison was imagining when he made that Frankenstein movie in 1904.
When Edison built the Black Maria in the swamps of New Jersey, where he shot all those films. All right, this film inherits so much. I was immediately thinking about, the General and how that was the most like expensive film sequence of all time. When at the end of the General, that bridge gets blown up and the train really got like went into that. Y'all know about that in the General? Like they didn't clean that shit up until like the 40s or like the 30s. Like when they blew up that train, and it went into that gorge at the end of the General in like 1918 or so, they just left it there. When D.W. Griffith built Babylon for his, what was the film? He built Babylon in the middle of Hollywood. They left it up till the 40s. They just left the stage there. This movie inherits all of that. This is Hollywood. This movie's incredible.
I almost don't want to see it now. I just want you to explain it the whole time.
I mean,
shot for shot.
Oh, I will go see this movie again with you.
Should just be you explaining every Fast and Furious
from
movie
start to finish.
In great detail.
I was howling laughing from the opening minute of this movie.
How many people were in that theater with you?
It was like half full. I saw it at like 1 p.m. in the middle of the day on Friday. It was awesome. And I'll tell you what, the rest of the theater was laughing too, man. I don't think.
Okay, I was wondering. No. Okay.
Bolt T wants to call me out. Bolt T says, "Hey, remember during Geekscape Boys Club when you said you don't watch guys' movies? Why would you say this is a guys' movie? Huh? Listen,
this is a family movie.
This movie's about family. This is clearly a drama. All right, and actually, this is clearly a superhero movie, and there's a pretty fun narrative early on where our own Tyrese, shout out to Tyrese, Geekscape's own Tyrese, he actually calls it a question. He's like, y'all ever wondered how like we haven't died yet? And I was like, oh, cool. This movie actually knows what it is. I mean, I think this series is straight up a superhero series. People have said it before. We'll say it here too. It's a superhero movie, and we don't get Black Widow for another 2 weeks. This is your superhero movie. If you treat this like people with superpowers doing ridiculous things in ridiculous ways, I think you'll be super satisfied. For me, this is definitely a fun comedy movie. And you know what?
Is this your number one movie of 2021 so far?
I'm not gonna bash on it. I mean, first off, you got to respect the box office of the Fast series. Like you have to. But
sure.
I had like straight up no facetious, no guilty pleasure, none of that garbage. Like I had fun watching this movie. And if you're looking for something to just howl at and have a fun roller coaster ride, this is the movie. This is it. And Natasha Romanoff will see you in Family in 2 weeks for Black Widow, and Ian Kerner, and it will break that down with me. But I'm down, man. Fast 9 was awesome. It was Fast 9. It was tight.
Right.
That's my review. Fast 9 was tight.
Fast 9 was tight.
Fast 9
You
was
heard it
tight.
here.
On the scale of dank to tight, he gave it a tight.
Yeah, this movie was tight, yo. Tight, yo. This is like my third favorite Fast movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are
My
the two
favorite has
above
to
it?
be, I think, the one with submarine. And I think the one where he's in Brazil, which I think is 5. And The Rock goes down there to arrest him. And there's a bounty on Dom's head. And he finds Dom, literally the bad guy in the movie in Brazil, puts like $1 billion bounty on Dom's head. And is like, I want him to not be able to hide anywhere. I want his head, you know. The Rock comes to Brazil to arrest Dom and finds him doing street races under a bridge in like Rio de Janeiro or Sao Paulo or something with all of these criminals who I guess didn't know about the bounty on the head because they all could have cashed in because he's right there. And they were like, I don't want to allow this guy to hide. Dom's in broad, like, not daylight, it's at night, but he's like, but when The Rock goes to arrest him, he goes, you ain't arresting me. Don't you forget? This is Brazil! And all these cutthroat, like, scumbags are, like showing off, like, their guns and stuff, and The Rock backs off. And I was like, yeah, like, how, like, did the guy who's working for the big bad guy just forget to go to Kinko's and print up the wanted posters? Because,
John, I'm proposing that actually all of those people in that scene are people who came to get Dom, and then we're just like, yo, this guy's tight, and they just decided to hang out with him instead.
You know what? We were gonna collect that reward from like the big bad guy, but you can race, bro. So let's race. These movies do make no logical sense. Do not expect them to make logical sense. Expect them to basically be superhero movies that sometimes don't make logical sense. You know, it's like it's like Van Helsing with cars. Like it's that type of movie where you're like, okay, this is fun. Whee! John Cena's gonna zip line down out of Edinburgh for 20 minutes and sure, physics.
Yay! All right.
Was there anything else you watched, John?
What else did I watch? No, except that I watched that Mayor of Easttown documentary about your neighborhood. That made me worry about you. I spent last week just worrying about you, Matt.
I mean, how true to hope with like when I found out that Matt lived in the town that they shot, and how much you were talking about like the familial stuff, and that like Matt like lives not far from his sister.
I've not watched.
Okay.
I haven't watched a second of it, so I can't answer any questions about authenticity.
It's basically
all I know is like people, because I'm Facebook friends with so many people from high school. So like people from high school will just pull up stills from Mayor of Easttown and then like a photo of them as kids in their backyard, and it's the same backyard. Like,
it's
just
they
just walked around and shot around the town.
Matt, I know you. I trust you. Anybody else in your town's a suspect for murder.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, like absolutely. Mayor of Easttown's great, but it also made me never want to go to Easttown.
I was like,
technically,
because I don't think you can get out. Like, it doesn't feel like you can get out of that town.
Technically,
no. Matt Kelly moved out of his parents. Matt Kelly moved out of his parents' house and moved immediately into his sister's house. Like there's no escape.
Nope.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, but they shot in Aston, but it's technically based in like Upper Darby. Like that's like 45 minutes away.
You're not convincing me to visit.
No, you should. Wawa. I can convince you with some Wawa, some iced tea.
Oh, now we're talking. Did you see the Craigslist post from the guy who's Italian who said, "I'll fight any Irish person"? Meet me on this corner. Like AJ Santini, our buddy, shared this thing on Facebook. It was a Craigslist post from somebody in Philadelphia who was like, I will fight any Irish person. He was an Italian dude. He said, I will beat up any Irish person. Meet me at this corner. Email me. No weapons. Meet me on this corner. We hear the stipulations. No weapons. You and I and we have to meet on this corner outside of Lorenzo's Pizza. And I'm just gonna, I want to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is Philly.
Yeah.
Yep, this tracks.
Hey, you lived there for a couple of years, it gets wild.
It gets wild, dude. It gets
Did
wild.
someone respond to the Craigslist ad? Like, that's the thing I'm curious about. I mean, how would you? But dang.
No idea. Yeah, but I was like, yep, that's Philly right
but
there.
I know that the answer is yes, they did.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, somebody probably did,
and
then
like more glitchy.
No, I was just gonna say that. I bet that Italian kid's mom got a really bad note later that day. It was like, sorry about your son. I bet the pawn shops in the area found that guy's like fake gold like necklace pawned like a couple hours after that fight. Like, you don't go around challenging people to fights like that. I'll beat any Irish person. I'll beat up any Irish person. No.
Also,
I think it's posted on the Men for Men page too, which I think was even more.
Men for Men. He's gonna fight
like men searching for men. Yeah.
He's like, bring your ring fit. Let's get down. Let's do it. I'm gonna pitch your peeper off with this ring fit. So Matt, the other movie that came out this weekend, and I got to tell you, I wanted to go see this movie in theaters. It's not released in theaters. It's only on Disney Plus, and I was pretty upset about that because I wanted to go to a movie this weekend. Oh, I did. I went to F9, which is more than a movie. It's a cinematic experience. And I wanted to see Luca in theaters because I love Pixar movies and I think they deserve to be seen on a big screen because they're gorgeous. It's only on Disney Plus. That de-incentivized me to see this movie. I will see it, but I wanted to see it on a big screen.
And it's not. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but like, it's probably one of my least favorite Pixar movies. Like, it just didn't really do anything for me. Like, I haven't been this let down by a Pixar movie since like a Cars movie. Like, it was just, I don't know. Like, and it's a Pixar movie, so it's still good, right? But like, first off, if we're talking about the Disney releases this year, Raya and the Last Dragon absolutely destroyed Luca as far as the better film in my mind.
Okay, and that's one that I definitely want to see, and I'm sad that I missed it in theaters because that's. Did you see it in theaters? Is that theaters were still kind of closed when that came out?
Still watch that streaming too. I just think that Raya is the first time since like 2016 where Disney Animation Studios outdid Pixar with their movie. Because 2016 you had Disney Animation Studios did Zootopia and Moana when Pixar put out Finding Dory, and it was like.
But I also liked
competition.
2015. What was 2015? Because I like Big Hero 6. And Big Hero 6 rocked the Casbah.
2015, they were up against the Good Dragon. So yeah, probably Big Hero 6 won that battle too.
The Good Dinosaur.
The Good Dinosaur.
Yeah.
And then
but also like, because I remember. I forget the movie. Okay, sorry. Continue. I was like, oh wait.
My review of this movie is essentially that it's a good movie, but it's like a really great DreamWorks movie and a very mediocre Pixar movie in my mind.
Wow.
Okay.
I think that says it.
Yeah, that says it.
It's a very good DreamWorks movie. It's like, ouch.
Yeah. But it still made me. But like the last 30 minutes or whatever is great, and I was like tearing up, and I did not. I mean,
it didn't
like,
make me cry like Coco or anything like that.
That's what I was going to say. Coco and Onward are like, those are two movies that are new and are going to be in my top 5 Pixar movies for years because they just hit all of the right notes. And I think what it is, why I say it reminds me of Cars is that like, I've come to expect that like when I sit down and watch a Pixar movie, it's going to be like Inside Out. It's going to be like Soul. It's going to like really ask some heavy questions that I have to like ask. And this was absolutely more aimed for the kids. And that's fine. But it just wasn't doing it for me.
Let me argue this, that a lot of these like have to do with like the movies that you're mentioning, like with psychology or with like existential theory or like just like kind of bigger concepts. I think this one was actually also that it was just a little bit more deeply hidden in like the mythos of these kids who are basically, they're not, they call them sea monsters, but they're like mermen in a way. And if they breach through the water, they turn into humans, but like this whole society of like these underwater like creatures are basically saying you can never go up to the surface. It's absolutely forbidden. I would never like they'll send you down to the depths of the sea, and it feels almost an allegory to like religion in a way, or some people have also compared it to coming out, where it's like no one ever touches that. When you don't go there, we don't talk about it. Like also Maya Rudolph in this movie was fantastic. She plays the mother.
No, the parents steal the show. Honestly, her and Jim Gaffigan are the stars of the movie to me.
What Katie's talking about is making me want to see the movie, though.
No, like, I mean, I think everyone should see it. I just think I went into this like, oh shit, this is going to be a Pixar movie. I'm ready. And then like 20 minutes into it, I was like, man, I watched Raya and the Last Dragon for the third time last night, and I was still more like really invested in that whole world than I am with Luca. And I think it was just because this felt like a Disney Animation Studios film, and Raya the Last Dragon felt like a Pixar movie to me, just in like the tone and the storyline. And also, I mean, I also just a stan for Awkwafina. I think she's very funny. So she can do her thing in that movie for an hour and a half, and I'll just be invested in every second of it.
You get me to want to watch Raya more than you're getting me to watch Luca. I mean, I think that I'm going to watch both.
I kept calling it Raya, so I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly or not. But I love that movie, and I thought that was great. And you should also, if you see that movie, you should also see the behind the scenes of it and how they kind of made it, because they made that entire movie in quarantine, from like a lot of the animating and to a lot of like the voiceovers that you had to like record that in their own house with like a Zoom feed going on with like the directors, and like they had to build these like little sections in the middle of like their living rooms and stuff.
We can do that right now. We should just make a movie on like this. We should just make an animated movie and see.
We're gonna make your video game, John.
Yeah, hey,
that's exactly it.
Play a squirrel jumping off a tree and like smashing somebody's face in.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm throwing my big prediction out right now, though. I think that this is going to be. So I did a little bit of research after you told me that we were going to be talking about this. After I watched it, and I don't think that there's going to be anything that's not going to be a Disney property that wins Best Animated Feature this year at the Oscars. In fact, fun fact, there's only ever been 6 movies since the category was created that weren't Disney films to win that award.
No way.
We can do a quick trivia on which ones you think they are. But
it's like Spirited Away and some other films.
Spirited Away, Shrek, Spider-Verse, Wallace and Gromit.
I could have named those 3. I wouldn't have named. I think I wouldn't have named Shrek. I would have named those 3. Yeah.
Yeah. And there was like 2 other ones, but those were the big ones. But I think that Raya has this in the bag. Like I don't think that there's going to be another challenger that comes out. Oh, Happy Feet. Happy Feet and Rango were the other 2.
Happy Feet was fun until it got really morbid. And I was like, whoa, okay. This is freaking me out.
It was definitely like an allegory that I was just not understanding. I was like, what is going on?
But speaking of Awkwafina, that we did get a Shang-Chi trailer, which is making us a little bit, I mean, it's making me a little bit more interested in Shang-Chi, the next Marvel movie that we're getting in September after Black Widow. And I got to tell you, the one thing that got me most hyped for it, and I'm in for a Shang-Chi movie. I think it'll be fun. Marvel, you're going to watch it. So the Abomination's in the trailer in a quick shot. And that's the Abomination we haven't seen since the Ed Norton Hulk. I know that Abomination character is also in the She-Hulk Disney Plus show coming up. Tim Roth is also playing him in that. But holy crap, like, I'm stoked. Yeah. I'm stoked that we get.
Did you see who he's fighting?
He's fighting Wong from Doctor Strange.
Wong. Yes.
Let's figure out what that's all about. I mean, we don't have to talk Loki today because episode 3 came out, and I wasn't as into episode 3. I mean, episode 1 just really, I was super stoked on Loki. Episode 2 and 3, I'm just kind of seeing where it's going. Ian and I will do a big wrap up on Loki when it wraps, but I got to tell you, my favorite Marvel thing was like, oh, cool, Abomination's back. Let's see him fight Wong. And I like how all the Marvel properties mix up. I love that. I love that stuff.
So this is sneak peek on, I guess, what's dropping on Horror Movie Night in like a week or two. But we just did the movie Death Machine. Have you ever seen this movie Death Machine, John, from
You get one
1994?
guess. That was what
I don't know. You're a wild man.
I do watch
But
some weird stuff. Yeah.
but the guy who directed it, he only did 2 other movies. He did Blade, and he did
Oh, Steve Norrington.
and he
Steve
did
Norrington.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about Steve Norrington.
I didn't realize that he was going to do Shang-Chi after League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Like that was like his next project.
Yeah,
back
those
in
Marvel
2003.
properties.
Like that's
those
crazy.
Marvel properties were strewn to the wind. Like there was a I don't know if y'all remember a production company called Artisan, but Artisan Pictures had Captain America and Sony had Iron Man for a bit. Like those Marvel properties were just strewn to the winds, man. And it's fun to see them all in one place. And we'll see what happens.
Resume of what he was supposed to make is like more impressive than his actual resume of what he did make. Like he was supposed to do Shang-Chi, he was supposed to do the Akira live action movie, he was supposed to do a reboot of The Crow. Like but League of Extraordinary Gentlemen put an end to all of that real fast.
Steve Norrington, I thought was pretty promising, and I like Blade a lot. And the crazy thing is that League of Extraordinary Gentlemen came out the same summer that Ang Lee's Hulk film came out, and I feel like if Ang Lee had done League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and Steve Norrington had done a Hulk movie, I think we would have been good. You know what I mean? Like Steve Norrington doing a movie with like a comic book movie with a lot of smashing and like bashing, great. Ang Lee doing a cerebral, like literary, Alan Moore book, sign me up. But they didn't make those movies. They made opposite movies, and I was like, no.
Well, John, let me tell you a recommendation because it's on Amazon Prime right now. Death Machine from 1994. Here's the soft sell. It's in the distant future of 2003, and it's in an office building where they have in the basement a mad scientist played by Steven Dorff, Chucky himself. Who's designing weapons for the military, and his boss decides, yo, you're crazy, we can't let you work here anymore. And he immediately unlocks one of his vaults where he's built a giant murderous dinosaur robot that just starts killing all of the people that are inside the building.
That movie sounds incredible. I will watch it because you had me at Stephen Norrington because I've always been interested in his career. I know 2 movies, and one of them was, I love that first Blade movie. I love the second Blade movie. But Brad Dourif, I'll watch in anything. I just showed Heidi One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and he plays the youngest inmate in that, and it's amazing. He's so great. And obviously Lord of the Rings, he's so great.
He's one of those dudes who just go 110%. He doesn't get enough credit for how
he was
much
in a
he throws
drama.
himself into characters.
He was in a drama called what's the county, Katie, here in California, where they smoke all the weed up north, or they grow all the weed.
Oh, not it's near Sacramento.
Humboldt. So
I don't know.
Humboldt County. He was in a movie called Humboldt County that I thought was really great. And it was a drama, and I thought it was fantastic. Steven Dorff doesn't have to play Chucky or some crazy king in Lord of the Rings to still be great, but he was great in a drama, and I was like, this guy can do anything.
Okay.
So I'm down with him.
Also in the movie Body Parts, if you remember that movie with Jeff Fahey.
I'm in. Yeah, Jeff Fahey. Yeah, can maybe do everything too, but I'm in, man. Well, we've covered a ton
Body Parts
on this episode.
Insane. Check it out.
Yes, and check out Horror Movie Night, and check out all the podcasts that we have on the Geekscape network, which is, I guess, not going to be a Geekscape podcast network that much anymore because we're doing other things, which is fun. Wow, we're doing a lot of cool stuff here on Geekscape, and I said it to Andy Rattinger. I was over at Andy's editing with him earlier today, and I was sending the emails and getting the phone calls for the next partnership after the blood drive.
I was just gonna say.
And I was turning to Andy and I go, I don't have the overhead for this. I don't have enough help with this stuff. Matt helps, Katie helps, Derek helps. If you guys want to be a part of Geekscape, if you're listening to this and you want to be like, hey, I want to help out, please send me an email, jonathan@geekscape.net. Jonathan@geekscape.net, if you want to advertise on Geekscape, if you want to partner with Geekscape on something, maybe you're like, hey, I'm a video game developer. That deer game sounds tight. Let's do it.
Keep an eye open for a Patreon page.
Yeah.
If you don't think you got skills to donate, but you have money, Patreon page is coming soon.
And I'll tell you about that Patreon page. It's not going to me. It's going to Matt and people who are like Matt who are helping keep this thing on. Because I just think of like fun ideas, like, hey, let's partner with this, let's do this, let's do that, and I just get everybody else in trouble because they're like, now we got to do stuff.
Now we actually have to do it.
It makes it.
So
the Patreon will go towards making it worth their while to put up with my machinations.
And there's a lot of great things coming down the pipe, so it's exciting.
Keep you from being homeless too. That'll be nice.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what, Mayor of Easttown, man, you don't want Matt Kelly on the streets. He'll be dead. He'll be dead in 2 days.
You got to watch it, by the way. You do have to watch that.
Matt, that documentary, Mayor of Easttown, on your place, that is great. That was a great series. But
Kate Winslet was a great docu-series.
You got to come back. You got to come back to LA or something, man. We'll set you up in like
anywhere,
some dangerous ass neighborhood out here in LA. I'd rather you be rolling with the
that my parents almost stayed at.
I would rather you be rolling with the Crips and Bloods and like MS-13 than being Mayor of Easttown town. No. We'll get you some face tats. You'll fit right in, Matt. That is going to be way better than that place. You'll be dead. I don't want you living there anymore, man. Because I know Katie ain't running the network. She's too busy. She's too busy. She's too busy with her Go games and stuff.
Literally running one right now.
Okay, let's let Katie do her job. Let's let Matt watch another crap movie, and me, I'll go and cry. Geekscape, I love you. This has been Geekscape F99. And we'll be back with Geekscape 599 next week, and then the blood drive. Oh my god, there's so much going on. Find us on social media. You'll be up to date with all of it on Instagram,
Geekscape Gives.
And yeah, Geekscape Gives is what we're going to do for all of our charity work coming up, starting with the blood drive. So get ready to take some selfies donating blood with the Geekscape Gives, and there might be some fun things in there for you if you do so. All right, Geekscape forever. And peace. Bye-bye.